At 7:41 a.m. Lebanon time, a pilot in an F-15E flips the weapons activation switch and feels the weight of 5,000 pounds of ordnance sliding along the rail beneath the fighter's wing. In less than 60 seconds, he and his 4 F-15E wingmen will turn the mountain at Jabal Amel into something that looks like a Walmart parking lot. But first, they have to reach the release point without getting shot down. At 6:45 a.m., the pilot has been repeating the pre-flight checklist for the past 30 minutes, something he has done hundreds of times before. Fuel levels have been verified. Weapon systems are fully operational. A GBU-28 bunker buster hangs under the fuselage, anything but discreet. At 5,000 pounds per bomb, it is clearly visible even to the naked eye. When you actually need to level a mountain in a single morning, physics does not give you many options. His weapons systems officer, WSO, sits in the back seat, checking the controls of the APG-82 radar. Their target is Jabal Amel, where the most advanced US satellites have maintained continuous surveillance for over 30 days. The underground structure hidden inside that mountain is a secret Hezbollah missile storage facility. The storage bunkers cover roughly 5,400 square feet each, connected by tunnels stretching 490 feet, forming a hidden network spanning 1.15 square miles, possibly more, estimated to store nearly 400 missiles of various types. When you see empty trucks arriving here and leaving with cargo emitting abnormal heat signatures, even a child could guess something is hidden inside that mountain. At exactly 7:15 a.m., air traffic control at RAF Akrotiri clears all aircraft for takeoff. The lead pilot pushes the throttle forward. The Pratt & Whitney F-100 engines ignite, generating a total thrust of 58,000 pounds. The F-15 needs that much thrust to break free from gravity with a bomb-laden airframe. At that takeoff weight, it feels like a freight train with wings. Acceleration is so intense that both crew members could barely perform something as simple as a Japanese-style bow. Speed builds to 174 miles per hour. The massive jet lifts reluctantly, climbing at least 600 feet per minute. Then 4 more F-15E aircraft take off in sequence. Wingman, the EA-18G, escorting 55,000 pounds of firepower, launches 15 seconds later. A total of 6 aircraft have just departed the runway on Cyprus. This strike plan is indirect. Instead of flying straight to Lebanon over 168 miles like amateurs, they head southwest over the Mediterranean, climbing to 15,000 feet. Then they arc southeast, before dropping down to 1,500 feet and flying parallel to the coastline. Then suddenly pull up to 25,000 feet, release the 5,000-pound payload dragging beneath the aircraft, and return to base, exactly where they started. This adds an extra 56 miles and 10 minutes to the mission, but keeps them outside the coverage of radar, surface-to-air missiles, and Hezbollah fast boats that could expose their position. At 7:20 a.m., the pilots switch the aircraft to autopilot, letting the flight management system handle the climb, while the WSO configures the systems for the Air Force's special delivery. Each GBU-28 you see here must be individually programmed: target coordinates, fuse delay, and impact angle. The WSO inputs data while simultaneously monitoring radar warning receivers for any sign they have been detected. The problem with large bunker busters is this: they are not smart bombs you can release from 50 miles away. Their design is meant to collapse entire structures, not sneak through a doorway to hit a specific room. That means the GBU-28 needs altitude to achieve penetration velocity. Physics requires these pilots to release from at least 25,000 feet, which means they must get close enough and high enough to light up every radar in the region like a neon sign. At 7:33 a.m., the strike leader confirms the transition to the next phase, with a subtle 3-degree bank to the right at a speed of 570 miles per hour. In 4 minutes, they will turn north toward Lebanon. In 8 minutes, they will delete a mountain from the satellite map. But first, they need to blind every radar between here and Jabal Amel. 60 seconds later, the first signal from a P-18 spoon rest radar, located 15.5 miles offshore, begins detecting something unusual at 15,000 feet. Inside the cockpit, the pilots focus on their radar warning receivers as alerts begin sounding and threat symbols appear on the display. It is the distinctive low-frequency whine that every US pilot memorizes. Operating at 150 MHz in the VHF band, this radar is older than most of the pilots flying today. Older radar systems like this are believed to be resistant to stealth technology and conventional jamming, but that is only theory. The flight leader gives the command. All 5 F-15E aircraft activate their AN/ALQ-135 electronic warfare systems simultaneously. This synchronized activation is not random. To coordinate at 15,000 feet with near-perfect precision is something trainee pilots cannot achieve. The AN/ALQ-135 system does more than jam. It actively deceives enemy radar. Its digital radio frequency memory captures incoming radar signals, modifies them, then sends back false returns to Hezbollah command. It is like your mother asking if you have mowed the lawn. You say, yes, and then buy yourself a few minutes before she finds out so you can sneak out to play. This deception makes the aircraft appear 18.6 miles farther away than their real position. The speed and approach angle of the 5 aircraft become a masterclass in deception. Within seconds, Hezbollah radar operators see 5 aircraft turn into 20, flight paths casually violating the laws of physics. Over internal comms, the wingman reports, "Jamming system is scoring a perfect A+." At 7:37 a.m., the formation is now only 1.8 miles from the Lebanese coastline. The commander confirms the execution of the approach phase. The entire formation drops altitude to 450 feet above sea level, executing a wide arc before running parallel along the coastline. Suddenly, a Chinese JY-27 radar not far away lights up, pointing directly at them. This one is modern, active electronically scanned array, frequency hopping, claiming immunity to jamming. The US pilots are not impressed. Their intelligence brief already includes the specific weaknesses of this radar. The lead aircraft banks 35 degrees left while transmitting maximum power jamming. The wingman banks 40 degrees right, creating a false reflection signal of the lead aircraft's true position. The deception system does not just create false targets, it creates believable ones, convincing enough that Hezbollah's technical teams begin to think the end of the world is coming. Each Ghost aircraft follows a logical flight path, maintains stable speed, even simulating radar cross-section fluctuations as wings bank. The deception is so perfect that radar operators begin tracking and reporting entire phantom squadrons, things that exist only as electrons dancing across their screens. At 7:39 a.m., they reach the attack point, where error tolerance does not allow even a single second. The formation converges, shedding all deception and shifting into pure speed. 5 F-15s form a stepped formation. From 450 feet, they accelerate upward to 25,000 feet at a 15-degree climb angle. Speed increases to 632 miles per hour. Hezbollah's air defense network begins reacting like a pit bull that just lost its favorite bone. Every radar within a 100-mile radius locks onto them. The radar warning display looks like a Christmas tree. Layers of flashing lights overlapping as multiple systems compete to lock targets. But it is already too late. In 25 seconds, they will be over the missile storage facility. In 2 minutes, they will be on their way home. That is, if nothing interferes with the plan. The pilots ignore the screaming warnings and focus on the target. Time to deliver 55,000 pounds of American steel to a new address in Lebanon. At 7:40 a.m., the target area appears clearly on the HUD, a seemingly innocent hillside hiding a secret that would keep judges hammering their gavels endlessly. And this is where things get interesting. The flight leader announces the bomb release phase has begun. Each pilot moves by muscle memory, master arm on, weapon selected, release mode confirmed automatic. The weapons officers in the back seat have the harder job, maintaining the Sniper XR targeting pod to guide 55,000 pounds of bombs onto target with meter-level precision. The AN/AAQ-33 Sniper XR pod is like a high-tech eye with a laser pointer mounted on the aircraft, allowing it to see and mark the target so the bomb knows exactly where to go. The lead F-15 banks 25 degrees left, pulling into a 4 o'clock angle, and this is not random. The approach angle ensures the bomb impacts perpendicular to the tunnel system, maximizing penetration. The wingman holds position 2,300 feet behind, ready to adjust if the lead aircraft's bomb reveals any deviation. The Sniper XR pod scans onto the target. Infrared sensors paint a detailed image. The laser designator operates on a semi-active laser guidance principle, The guidance laser operates on a specific frequency, creating a signature that the bomb's seeker recognizes as its target among dozens of other designators that could be active simultaneously on the battlefield. Think of it simply like your mom catching you sneaking out right at the front door. There may be dozens of sounds around you, but the only thing you hear is her yelling. The thermal signature of the underground facility becomes visible. Ventilation shafts, cooling systems, residual heat from personnel, and hundreds of stored munitions below. It seems someone forgot to install thermal insulation for a secret base inside a mountain, a fatal mistake. At 7:41 a.m., they finally reach the release point. 25,000 feet, 3.7 miles from target, 528 miles per hour. The lead pilot aligns the aiming reticle with the designated impact point, the location intelligence identified as the main tunnel junction. The HUD shows exactly where 5,000 pounds of hardened steel will arrive in 25 seconds. The lead pilot confirms release.
Pickle. Good release.
The WSO replies as he feels the aircraft lift slightly after shedding 5,000 pounds of weight. The other 4 F-15Es follow, each confirming successful GBU-28 release over the radio. 5 GBU-28s fall in sequence. The massive bombs begin their descent. Each deploys small fins for stabilization. The laser seeker searches for the coded energy guiding it to impact. Altitude is critical here. The GBU-28 relies on pure velocity to penetrate hardened underground targets. The higher the release, the faster the impact, meaning deeper penetration and greater destruction. In about 20 seconds, 5 bunker buster bombs begin diving toward Jabal Amal. But the commander has no intention of letting the strike package stay around to admire the explosion. He orders,
Egress. Egress.
The command is given. All 5 F-15Es roll inverted and dive toward the ground. Behind them, the WSOs continue holding the Sniper XR laser lock, painting invisible dots on the mountainside that the bombs are racing toward with singular purpose. In 25 seconds, these bombs will achieve more than politicians have managed in decades. At 7:41:20 a.m., the first GBU-28 enters terminal descent at 2,920 feet per second, approaching Mach 1. The 5,000-pound penetrator has converted 25,000 feet of altitude into pure kinetic energy. The bomb does not see the mountain. Its simple brain processes only 2 things: the laser designator point and the rapidly shrinking distance to impact. The GBU-28 strikes Jabal Amal at 1,310 feet per second. The 5,000-pound weapon carries 1,390 pounds of tritonal explosive inside an Eglin ES-1 steel alloy casing. This is not ordinary steel. It is a specialized alloy designed to maintain structural integrity while penetrating obstacles that would shatter conventional weapons. The kinetic energy is immense, 1.5 billion joules, focused into a cross-section smaller than a Big Mac. The bomb does not detonate on impact. Doing so would waste its potential. Instead, the delayed fuse counts down as the penetrator drills through rock and concrete, waiting for the precise moment to maximize effect. The nose, forged from Eglin ES-1 steel, meets limestone in a confrontation lasting microseconds. The rock loses instantly, turning to powder, then plasma. The bomb penetrates 82 feet of solid rock in the first second, barely slowing down. It then meets the reinforced concrete ceiling of the storage bunker. 10 feet of reinforced concrete designed to withstand 2,200-pound bombs, but against a 5,000-pound penetrator at near supersonic speed, it might as well be foam. The tritonal explosive, 80% TNT, 20% aluminum powder, detonates inside a confined space designed to channel the shockwave horizontally through the tunnel network. The second bomb impacts 3 seconds later. Its penetration path cuts through parallel tunnel systems. The third, fourth, and fifth bombs strike exit points on the opposite side. Each penetrator follows its own path into the mountain. At 7:41:29 a.m., the mountain explodes. 5 synchronized detonations create a phenomenon known as resonant interference. Shockwaves from each explosion meet and amplify, turning solid rock into gravel. The tunnel network channels these forces like gun barrels, generating overpressure that liquefies concrete and twists structural steel beams into modern art. But the true destruction arrives 8 seconds later. Primary detonations trigger chain reactions through ammunition and fuel storage. Secondary explosions propagate along collapsing tunnels, each one finding new stockpiles of weapons. The F-15E crews, now already in egress, witness the mountain erupt behind them. A column of smoke and debris rises 1,500 feet into the sky. The underground Hezbollah facility has just become Lebanon's newest quarry.